The experience of moving into a new apartment complex and discovering your ex lives downstairs? Let's just say, awkward doesn't even begin to cover it, especially when his mother answers the door. Spontaneous combustion and instant death felt like viable alternatives to my current state of being. My toes curled inside my sandals as a smooth, low voice spoke from behind me, leg cramp. My upturned big toe froze mid-wiggle. Blast it all, why sandals today? My foot itched, okay? Oh, he replied. Oh! I gritted my teeth. Talking to him was a mistake. The man behind me was tall, his eyebrows dark and sharp like knife strokes. His eyes, intensely bright, gave the illusion of gentle affection. His lips curled into a slightly arrogant smirk. He wore a flamboyant Hawaiian shirt and shorts, perfectly complementing his devil-may-care attitude. This preening peacock was Reese Riptide Riverton, my ex. Our split 3 years ago had been messy. It had started with something petty, escalating into a ridiculous exchange. That watch is mine. I gave it to you last Valentine's Day. That necklace? Anniversary gift. Take it off. This sweater? I knitted it. And those underwear? I bought them. It had been a farce. As if returning possessions could erase everything. The elevator doors opened and Reese strode in, bumping my shoulder with feigned nonchalance before kicking my suitcase over. Reese, you. I started, but he cut me off with a smirk. Don't get all puffed up like a pufferfish. My teeth ached. I wanted to throttle him, wrestle him to the ground, and show him exactly what friction could do. 3 years later, he was still the same petty, vindictive man. Nearly 30, yet emotionally stunted. The summer night was stifling. Even the wind felt scorched. After a day of unpacking, I collapsed onto my bed, staring at the stark white ceiling. My thoughts, inevitably, drifted to the peacock downstairs. Of all the people, why Reese? I hadn't seen him since deleting his contact information and blocking all news about him 3 years ago. He seemed to be doing well, aside from the unchanged, atrocious attitude. Snap out of it, Indigo, I told myself. It's over. Don't think about him. But my brain had other ideas. A little devil with yellow wings whispered in my ear. Did you see he left the bottom button of his shirt undone? Did you see those abs? He didn't have those before. Peacock abs. I groaned, burying my face in my pillow. Even after all this time, Reese could still evoke such a potent mix of emotions. It was frustrating and disheartening. A dangerous thought flickered within me, stubborn as a weed. Should I try to win him back? I mentally slapped myself. We'd agreed, whoever went crawling back was a dog. And I wasn't going to be the dog. I grabbed my neglected phone, hoping for a distraction. 99 plus missed calls. All from my best friend, Willow Peach. I called back and she answered instantly, her voice practically exploding through the speaker. Indigo. Are you going back to him? What? What are you talking about? Reese. He posted about it online. He says you're trying to win him back. My jaw dropped. What? I deleted him ages ago. Willow sent a screenshot. Reese's post. A certain Indigo moved in upstairs. The picture was of me, dragging my suitcase. Someone commented, asking if they were back together. Reese's reply, depends on her. Depends on her. I seethed. Some people use their heads as aquariums, not for thinking. I wanted to storm downstairs, grab Reese by the collar and yell, "Are you trying to frame me?" Willow's voice, laced with concern, broke through my thoughts. Indigo? You there? Willow, I said, 2 tigers can't live on the same mountain. Yes, they can, she replied, if one is male and the other female. Which brings us to how I ended up bailing water out of Reese's bathroom at 3 a.m. I suspected I'd angered the gods of awkwardness. Under the warm bathroom lights, Reese, shirtless and in those ridiculous floral shorts, wrestled with the pipes. His discarded, soaked shirt lay on the floor. Broad shoulders, narrow waist, toned physique. Droplets of water traced the lines of his abs and a scar. A jagged, white line that stretched from his shoulder blade to his left hip. A scar he'd gotten because of me. The memory hit me like a bucket of ice water. To this day, it made my heart clench. Seen enough? Reese straightened, his gaze unwavering. He smirked. Indigo, your methods of getting close to me are creatively inconvenient. Getting close to him? Forget embarrassment. I am not. I didn't. Don't be ridiculous. Oh, you aren't? Moving into the apartment above mine in a city this size? Having your packages misdelivered to me 11 times? Running into me in the elevator every morning? Getting drunk and knocking on my door 3 nights ago? And now, flooding my bathroom and needing me to break down your door to wake you up? Pure coincidence, I'm sure. It's fate, I mumbled. The coincidences were too much to explain. He snatched the small basin from my hands. Go to bed. He sounded like the lord of the manor. I stared, speechless. He sighed, dropped the basin, and effortlessly scooped me into his arms. His clean, familiar scent enveloped me. I'd dreamed of this, craved this, but never believed it would happen. He held me tight, too tight. I squirmed, about to tell him to back off, that this wasn't how you charmed a girl, when I saw his eyes. Red-rimmed. My own throat tightened. Reese, are you crying? He set me down on the bed, none too gently, then leaned over, pinning me beneath him. He cupped my face, our faces inches apart. I could see the shimmer of tears in his eyes. My nose stung. My arms wrapped around his waist. Peacock, I thought you missed me too, didn't you? His callous thumb brushed my cheek. He lowered his head, his voice a whisper against my ear. Your face, it's bigger. Bigger? And you've gained weight. I stared at him, dumbfounded. He meant my face was bigger and I'd gained weight. Reese, I'm going to kill you. He pinched my cheeks, making me pout. No violence, young lady. I opened my mouth to tell him to get off, but he covered it with his hand. His fingers were cold and trembling. Quiet, he whispered, his voice shaking. He pressed his forehead against mine, closing his eyes. Don't talk, just let me hold you. Why should I? I tried to push him away, but he didn't budge. His chest trembled against my palm, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm. A tear escaped, then another and another. This arrogant peacock was crying. Because of me. My heart ached with a strange mixture of bitterness and sweetness. I poked his chest with my finger. No reaction. Overcome with a sudden rush of tenderness, I traced letters on his chest with my fingertip. It's okay. Don't cry. He abruptly pushed me away and sat up, his chest heaving. He glared at me, his ears bright red. Indigo Rivers. You hussy. You've stooped to seduction? Well, it won't work. He fled the room. The spell was broken. The awkwardness returned. Who seduced whom? I thought. He was the one who hugged me. He was gone when I woke up. The bathroom was spotless, the lock replaced. New keys lay on the shoe cabinet with a note, keys to the new lock. Permission granted to pursue me. I punched in his number, sending a friend request. He accepted quickly. His profile picture was the same, a large orange. His username, too, sweet orange. A flicker of warmth spread through me. I checked his latest post. It was still the one accusing me of chasing him. I needed to set the record straight. I commented, don't flatter yourself. Seconds later, replies appeared. She's just shy. +1. +1. +1. I groaned. My phone buzzed. A message from Reese. Who is this? Give me a name or I'll delete you. As if he didn't know. Still playing games. I sent him a money transfer. He replied with a question mark. Compensation, I typed. He finally replied, money is tacky. Offer me something else. What do you want? Everything you took back 3 years ago. I sat rigidly in the hot pot restaurant, Reese's gaze burning into my back. How had I ended up on a blind date at his restaurant? It started that morning with a barrage of texts from my eccentric landlady, Kala. Indigo. SOS. Emergency. Call me back ASAP. What's wrong? I replied. She explained that she'd double-booked herself, agreeing to 2 blind dates on the same night. She begged me to go in her place, promising to have next month's rent. The words "rent halved" were my undoing. I agreed. At 7 p.m., I arrived at Century Square. Kala texted, "Wrong location. It's at XX Hot Pot." He's already there. Good luck. XX Hot Pot. Reese's restaurant? My cheapskate tendencies were going to be the death of me. Too late to back out. Panicked, I walked into the restaurant, scanning the room for Reese. Not there. Thank goodness. I ordered. Then he appeared, practically radiating fury. I could practically see flames flickering around him. I'm doomed. Back to the present. I hid my face in my bowl. My phone vibrated incessantly. Messages from Reese. "Indigo, bold of you to come to my restaurant for a date. Pick your battles. You're playing with fire. Dump him." I turned off my screen. If I can't see him, he's not there. If I can't see him, he's not there. But his gaze was too intense. I peeked back. Reese was pale, his eyes dark with anger. He stared, his expression screaming, "You're dead." My heart pounded. My date smiled, offering me some seaweed. Reese intercepted the seaweed, his voice glacial. "She doesn't like seaweed." He grabbed the man's shoulder, pulling him out of his chair. "Let's talk outside." 3 minutes later, my date returned, fuming. He glared at me, grabbed his bag, and stormed out. Reese slid into his seat, a twisted smile on his face. "From now on," he said, each word punctuated with barely controlled fury, "I'm your blind date." We sat in silence, me focused on my food, him focused on me. My occasional glances were always met by his intense, almost predatory stare. "Why the blind date?" he finally asked. My chopsticks stirred nervously in my bowl. "My landlady offered to have next month's rent if I helped her out," I mumbled, feeling like a scolded child. "That little." He muttered something under his breath, too low for me to hear. "What?" I said. "Stay away from her," he snapped, although his expression softened. He flicked a peanut at my face. I didn't flinch. It sailed past my ear. "Figured I wouldn't dare, huh?" he asked. "Would you?" Reese grinned, the tension easing from his face. "Indigo, you're wrong. It's not that I wouldn't dare. It's that I couldn't bring myself to." Heat rose to my cheeks. "Oh!" He sighed, a hint of exasperation in his voice. "Still the same little money grubber, I see." "Because..." I started, but he cut me off. "Only money and a roof over your head make you feel secure." A flicker of sadness crossed his face, his smile brittle. He looked tired, and it tugged at my heart. I hadn't noticed from afar, but now, up close, he looked worn down. The usually preening peacock had stubble shadowing his jaw, and even his beloved Hawaiian shirt was wrinkled. He flicked a lighter on and off, a cigarette dangling unlit from his lips. Guilt gnawed at me. I shouldn't have lied about getting rid of the things he'd given me. He'd been avoiding me ever since. "Reese, Indigo," he said at the same time, "you don't actually believe all those were coincidences, do you?" I froze. "I know your work schedule. I was in the elevator that day you were drunk. I told you we were on the 8th floor when we were on the 7th. I told the delivery guy to bring your packages to me because..." He raised an eyebrow. "His girlfriend lives in 803. "Why, you ask?" My palms sweated. My breath caught. "Why?" I echoed dumbly. Reese's lips twitched. "Because..." He didn't finish. Instead, he sent me a text. "Woof woof woof." And another, "I'm sorry." He cleared his throat, his voice uncharacteristically hesitant but sincere. "I'm sorry for what I said and did 3 years ago." I stared at him, disbelieving. His dark eyes met mine, and the noisy restaurant faded away. I'd first met Reese in a haunted house. Someone had bumped into me in the dark, knocking my glasses off. My friends scattered, screaming. I knelt on the floor, blindly groping for my glasses. I was wearing a white dress, my long dark hair obscuring my face. I probably looked like something out of a horror movie, especially crawling around on the floor like that. Then I heard the rattle of chains. "An employee?" I thought. "Excuse me," I called out, "I need help." A shriek, A crash. Silence. I squinted. A dark figure lay motionless on the floor. Did I just scare someone into unconsciousness? Why did I, the supposed victim, end up terrifying the ghost? I crawled over and nudged him. No response. What if he cracked his skull? Panic seized me. I fumbled for his walkie-talkie. Hello. I think I scared your ghost unconscious. Reese, the veteran haunted house employee, never imagined he'd be taken down by his prey. He tripped, hitting his head on a wall. His reputation ruined. Outside the haunted house, Reese nursed his bruised forehead with an ice pack, his gaze fixed on me. Don't worry, he said, seeing my distress. I tripped. It wasn't your fault. But if you hadn't been startled by me, you wouldn't have tripped, I insisted. His coworkers were stifling laughter. I realized he was trying to save face. Later, when we were dating, he confessed he'd never forgotten the little ghost who'd injured him and then called him out. Even his confession had been arrogant. We were walking around the track one night. He stopped, pulling me into his arms. He was so tall, my head barely reached his shoulder. He cupped my face, his voice low. Indigo, you like me? Not a question. A statement. I know I'm irresistible. So stop pretending. Just say you like me, and I'll consider letting you be my girlfriend. My heart pounded in my ears. How could anyone be so brazen? I hesitated. Do you even know anything about me? Reese had tricked me into visiting his house on his birthday, claiming he wanted to satisfy my curiosity about him. Since when was he my anything? His house was a 3-story villa overlooking the river. We were alone. He led me to his room, his hand gripping mine, his expression unreadable. My mom passed away when I was young. My dad, he's always working. His room was twice the size of my entire apartment. That's when I discovered Mr. Arrogant was a rich kid. Why would a rich boy work at a haunted house? I asked. He shrugged, a rare blush creeping up his neck. It's my business. I was checking on things. And I own other businesses, too. He showed me his awards and photo albums from kindergarten to college. Get it? He asked seriously. Get what? Idiot. This proves I've been brilliant and devastatingly handsome since birth. All natural. So I'm a catch. Don't let me get away. That day, I'd avoided his question. He'd dropped similar hints since, and I'd always played dumb. But not anymore. I met his gaze. You don't know anything about my family, my background, my life. How can you want to be with me? I paused. Or is this just a game? We're young. We can afford to make mistakes. My sudden seriousness caught him off guard. He stared, his long lashes fluttering. I slipped out of his embrace. Maybe it was too soon. Maybe I was scaring him away. But I'd been abandoned as a child. I craved stability and security. I was terrified of getting hurt. My grandfather found me. He died when I was in college. I'm from a small town. I have an old house. I'm cheap. I'm average looking. I have an average degree. Do you still want me? His fingers trembled. He pulled me back into his arms, his eyes shining. What kind of question is that? A serious one. Do you have an arranged marriage waiting for you? Would your family object to my background? Reese laughed. You watch too many dramas. He sobered. Indigo, do you not feel secure with me? We can get married tomorrow. Marry first, date later. It was my turn to stare. And then get divorced? He frowned. Indigo. Shut up. You're ruining the moment. My eyes crinkled into crescents. I leaned in and kissed him. Reese, I really like you. Be mine. We moved in together after graduation. But every night, he remained frustratingly proper. One night, I turned to face him, our bodies separated by what felt like a galaxy. I wiggled my fingers at him, pretending they were walking across the bed. Comrade Reese, you're making me feel unattractive. His breath hitched. He swatted my hand away. Comrade Indigo, don't be indecent. Then he rolled over. Indigo, if you're that desperate, just make an honest man out of me. He grinned. I'm a virtuous man. I only touch my wife. Did he seriously expect me to propose? I could practically see his smug smirk. I scoffed. I'm a free spirit. I can enjoy my freedom for another 100 years. Fine. Keep repressing yourself, then. Who was repressing themselves? We were happy. Then disaster struck. Reese's father's business went bankrupt, leaving him with crippling debt. The stress triggered a stroke, landing him in the hospital. Reese disappeared. I found him a week later, drunk in a club, entangled with a woman in a skimpy dress. Jiang-Soo, who'd brought me there, looked grim. Reese didn't want you to know, but I couldn't just leave him like this. Indigo, anyone would break under this pressure. Don't judge him. I nodded, pushing through the crowd. I'd met Reese's father a few times. A stern, old-fashioned man. Intimidating. But his love for Reese had always been evident. Reese had a lonely childhood, but his father had given him everything. Maybe he'd spoiled him, but he'd loved him fiercely. That explained Reese's arrogance, his occasional childishness. He looked thinner, his features sharper, his eyes dark with exhaustion. Stubble covered his jaw. He reeked of smoke and alcohol. There was a bruise on his lip, and his knuckles were scraped. He'd been in a fight. I pulled the woman away from him. She started to protest, but Reese silenced her with a look. I took his hand. New look? Going for the vibe? He didn't answer, avoiding my eyes. I wrapped my arms around his waist, resting my head on his chest. Don't you miss me? I missed you. What are you doing here? To gloat. He pushed me away, his eyes red. This isn't the place for you. He dragged me out, his grip painful. At home, I filled the tub and laid out fresh clothes. Reese sat in the doorway, smoking. Indigo, he said, his voice strained. I cheated on you. With that woman. I froze, my mind going blank. Tears welled up. You're lying, I whispered. He took a harsh drag of his cigarette. Indigo, are you that weak? You're just after my money. I don't have it anymore. Just leave me alone. Tears streamed down my face. Reese looked like he was about to shatter. He pushed himself up, his lips bleeding. I hugged him, pulling a card from my pocket. I sold the house. Anne. What? He roared, slamming his fists against the wall. Indigo. I don't need your charity. He stormed out. I found him later, crying in the stairwell. I hid, listening to his choked sobs. Maybe I should just let him go, I thought sadly. I hadn't even gotten the chance to tell him I'd bought a ring. A drunk driver ran a red light. Reese pushed me out of the way, ending up with the scar on his back. I was heartbroken, but he'd brushed it off, saying it made him look tough. That's when I knew. He's the one. So when his world fell apart, I didn't hesitate to sell the house filled with memories of my grandfather and me. It wouldn't solve everything, but I wanted to share the burden. He'd rejected me, pushing me away. He came back once, to pack his things. He wanted to break up. I'm leaving, he said coldly. You can stay here. I'm not that broke that I can't afford a breakup fee. Stop pretending. I snapped back. You are broke. What did you say? You're broke. We had a horrible fight. I moved out, convinced he wouldn't come back. And now, 3 years later, he was saying he was sorry. Tears blurred my vision. Sorry for what? I demanded. He panicked. For being a jerk. For saying horrible things. He wiped his brow, looking embarrassed. Anne, I didn't sleep with her. That's the point? I yelled. I'd never doubted him. Of course. It's a matter of honor. I didn't want you to think. I hit him with my bag. That's the point? Do you even know what you did wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. I gaped at him. He looked at me, his expression pained. Indigo, I want you to share the good times, not the bad. I couldn't bear to see you suffer. Then why are you back now? He grinned. Because things are good again. I'm not broke anymore. What if things hadn't gotten better? Then I would have stayed away. I almost did. I couldn't stand the thought of you struggling with me, of our children growing up in my shadow. But I got lucky. I raised my bag again. He flinched, quickly changing the subject. Indigo, do you still want me? Want. Great. I accept. You. Was he a bandit? That's how magnanimous I am. I sighed. Arguing was pointless. That night, my phone exploded with missed calls from Willow. Indigo. You're so mean. You didn't tell me. This felt familiar. My stomach dropped. Tell you what. Don't play dumb. Reese posted about it. I checked his profile. A new post. A certain Indigo behaved admirably, and this magnanimous gentleman has forgiven her. A picture of me. A flood of congratulatory comments. This peacock. Who forgave whom? I was about to explode when Reese walked in with a bowl of grapes. He frowned, seeing me on the phone. He rushed over, babbling nonsense before blurting out, Indigo, hang up. I can't take it anymore. Willow yelled, holy crap, and hung up. Reese, you perv. I threw a pillow at him. He ducked, popping a grape into my mouth. He leaned closer. Sweet. Sweet. Have another. Autumn faded into winter. The first snow of the year fell outside. The days grew short, the nights long. I stared out the window, then at Reese, who was clattering around in the kitchen. He actually learned to cook? He wore my pink apron, wielding a spatula like a seasoned chef, and on his head, a pair of red devil horns. I wore a matching pair. We'd bought them on a whim one day. I'd insisted he wear them. Aren't these for kids? He'd protested. I'd pouted. They're a pair. You don't want to match. He'd sighed. Fine. You're being so well-behaved, I'll indulge you. He'd become obsessed, insisting on matching everything. And he loved putting those horns on me. I regretted it now, especially after he'd discovered I'd kept all the things he'd given me. He'd been insufferably smug. Indigo, he'd said, smirking, I knew you couldn't forget me. He was constantly at my apartment, always finding excuses to stay over. I didn't object. He practically moved in. I saw through his tactics but said nothing. We'd wasted enough time already. I slipped the small, round band I'd bought 3 years ago into my pocket. Tonight, I'm trapping this peacock. At dinner, Reese studied my face. Indigo, he said, his voice laced with mock concern, I'll be 30 soon. I almost choked. You'll still be handsome when you're old. But what if we get married later? We won't have much time to enjoy ourselves before we have kids. Then when I pick them up from school, people will think I'm their grandfather. So stop playing hard to get. I know you want to marry me. I knew it the day you moved in. You still have feelings for me. Me? I thought. He's the one who never let go. I sighed. You're right. Dating you is getting boring. His eyes widened. I smiled, pulling out the ring. Fine. I'll marry you. His lips trembled. Are you proposing? I nodded. Where are the flowers? The candlelight dinner? The bended knee? He asked. I wanted to smack him. Don't push it. Fine. He snatched the ring and put it on. I'll accept your unconventional proposal. Then, he pulled out a ring of his own and slid it onto my finger. A fair trade. Don't say I'm cheap. Had he been planning to propose? The thought made me want to scream. Why had I been so impatient? He wrapped his arms around me from behind. Indigo, you like me that much? You confessed. You initiated getting back together. Now you even proposed. I want to sew your mouth shut. I growled. He chuckled, rubbing my head. If you're that good, I'll tell you a secret. What? That apartment is mine. And the landlady is my cousin. I stared at him, speechless. You. That's why I said there are no coincidences, he whispered against my neck. Just carefully laid plans. The end.